Hey, Miss Pengrino, you want to watch a movie? Well, okay, we can watch a TV show. How about the classic 1980s time travel show, Voyagers?
No, that sounds like shit.
Okay, how about Star Trek Voyager?
Well, I'm more of a TNG fan.
Well, hey, you know what? The theaters are open back up, so why don't we go out and actually go see a movie?
Okay, sure. But what should we go see?
How about the new sci-fi hit, Voyagers? Hello, I'm Hot Toddy, and welcome to an all-new episode of Get Real. It's been a little while, but then again, it's been a little while for movies too. Theaters have just opened back up, and there's some good films out there to go see. And one that is kind of on the teeter-totter for me is a film I saw the other day called Voyagers. It's a pretty interesting film. What's interesting more, though, is the fact that I didn't see this movie alone, so therefore I can't do this review alone. So with that in mind... Hey, Miss Pengrino's here! Hello, Miss Pengrino, and welcome to Get Real.
Hello, thank you for having me. Finally.
Miss Pengrino and I went to go see a movie called Voyagers the other night, and it was a pretty interesting film. Lots to unpack with a film like this. I'm not real sure how exactly to go about it. Why don't we just dig right in? Miss Pengrino,
Okay.
What did you think of Voyagers?
Well, for the time of now, COVID time, and movies having little leeway of what they can do,
Right.
I think it's pretty good. It's pretty decent, kept me interested. A little confusing here and there, but for the most part, I mean, it's a pretty decent movie.
By the way, if you hear jingling, that's Teeps the cat. She has a bail now. As a matter of fact, here she is.
We got her a new collar.
So she's
It's a
gonna
little
be
jingle
she's
collar.
gonna be jingling. By the way, this is the face of Super Fuzz Productions.
Super fuzz, right there.
And that's something else we should mention before we move on here is that Get Real is exclusively under the cone, the tent, the barrier, whatever you want to think of a new group called Super Fuzz Productions. It's a group that we created, Miss Pengrino and I, and Teeps the cat is now attacking the bed in front of us here. It's all fine.
She's looking up adorable.
Yeah. But yes, as you know, we're in the Hot Toddy media room, and there's a bed in the media room. It's where the magic happens. Yeah. But anyway, she's kicking the bed right now, so it's being really cute. She's trying to distract us, which is it's working. But anyway, so Get Real is under Super Fuzz Productions now. Her sister shows will be shows like Let Me Tell Ya, Played Out, Stump Hot Toddy, Just the Dumbest, and of course the flagship show, which is still the Smokin' Hot Toddcast, which this was a spinoff of originally. Originally it was going to be a part of it, now it's just a spinoff. But
right.
But anyway, yeah, so we're talking about Voyagers, and, you know, I liked Voyagers for what it was, too. What were we talking about on Saturday when we were leaving the film? What were some of the things that we were talking
the biggest thing is that it's kind of reality of what's going on today.
That's right.
Like global warming, people fighting each other, wars, and how to fix it.
The plot is very much like what we experience today, yeah, in terms of people's belief systems. It had a very clear case of people will believe in what they want to believe in, and if they have someone who talks loud enough and will and talks, I guess not consciously, but they talk.
They talk to the masses. They say what they want to hear.
And I guess talk loud enough really is the best way to describe it. It's the person who talks the loudest and you know, seems confident in what they're saying, even though it's pure bullcrap. People will follow. And I'm not naming names, but it's very reminiscent of someone. But anyway, that's what this movie is about. It's about being aware, very self-aware of what's going on in your surroundings, and then trying to make a decision based on that, and trying to make a change. And so it starts out with Colin Farrell.
Yes.
I haven't seen him in a movie in about 25 years.
Well, we haven't seen a movie in about 25 years.
Well, that's true.
So there's
2020 was about 25 years within itself. So he's like the father figure of all these little test tube babies, and these test tube...
they are genetically made babies from super duper smart people.
Yeah.
To continue a generation that will continue to be super smart.
And they're going off to a distant planet, which is like Earth, but it's like 86 years away. And it's going to take 86 years to get there. They're not going to make it, but their grandchildren are going to make it, and they're the ones that's going to populate this new planet. And so they go off to do the thing, but there's one little hitch, because they will adapt, they will grow, they will become adults on this spaceship that's taking them there. They're giving them a drug that essentially keeps them like robotic, almost straight up.
It dulls all the senses.
Yeah.
To, feel touch, smells, sight.
Right.
Where we may get goosebumps, they don't know what goosebumps are. Because they don't have
Which is upsetting, because that is a great series of books.
That is a really good book, yeah.
I love Goosebumps. But more to the point, that's what this is about. It's about trying to get a whole new generation of people to another planet without them actually having to go through the human process. And I don't want to give too much away here, but it doesn't work out that way, and there's a lot to unpack throughout the film.
Because it's almost like human nature kind of is human nature, drug or no drug. Mm-hmm. And you've built these people to be geniuses. So.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing. They are educated like nonstop their entire life, and so they are the ones that control the ship. There's nobody else controls the ship but them.
Something damaged, they fix it. Food, they grow it.
It's very it's very Star Trek-esque in that respect. But this movie's far from Star Trek. But no, it's an interesting film. Like we were saying, it's definitely relative to what's going on in the world today. In the scenario of the film, essentially the ship divides into two groups. Group A, who believes that we should carry on with the mission and make it to the planet no matter what, and
Group B,
and
who
Group
goes
B
crazy and wants to live to their passion, to their fullest, to do what they want, to say what they want,
and to have sex.
You did that too.
There's a hump scene.
Let's just say the B is a little bit bigger of a faction. There we go.
Not arithmetic.
Brain having a moment there.
It's all good.
They're a bit bigger of faction than the people who actually want to do good and continue this mission.
And that causes obviously a big problem.
A lot of problems.
But the cinematography of the film, I want to get into that, is beautiful.
That's real good.
This is a beautifully shot film. The lighting is fantastic. What really sells it is like a sci-fi. It's a film that really will hit you, especially like in the psychological realm. Is that because it's sort of like a psychological thriller, because it's all about people's it really is about people's psychology and how you can easily warp it if you speak loud enough and you make a point that resonates with them, they will go right along with you. And to make it even more of that in the film itself, in terms of the setting, it's very claustrophobic. The spaceship is very claustrophobic, very tight hallways, and it's like a maze, and it's very anxiety driven.
Can't touch one another, but I mean, you're literally in a space that you can't not touch one another.
You're on top of each other in this spaceship, which I guess makes sense why they kept them drugged up, because they didn't want them to
And it also has a fantastic example of what a mass hysteria is.
Yeah.
Great example of that.
Folia Do, I think, is a good example of that, where everybody kind of loses their mind at once because they think there's an alien loose on the ship. There isn't, but they think the alien is after them, and that's what feeds into the hysteria, and what feeds into Group B trying to take over the ship and say, "Hey, listen, this alien's trying to get us." Again, I don't want to give too much away.
I do have to say though,
but it's good to
see
get
this
into
movie. Once you kind of get into it, is a relatively predictable movie. You kind of know who the bad guy's going to be. You know what the outcome will be. It's still very good because it gives you interested. You want to see that outcome. You want to know what happens. Like, hey, did they make it? Did they not make it? Does everything just blow up? But you kind of can jump to conclusions pretty easily, which some people don't like. I don't necessarily mind a sci-fi movie. I almost like that I can jump to conclusions a little bit, because if I'm ever proven wrong, I'm like, well, damn, got that wrong.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's really well shot, really well scripted.
Yeah, well, I thought the script was a little inept. I felt like at certain points of the film, like they were really going for, I'm the bad guy, and I'm going to say bad guy things. I'm the good guy, and I'm going to say good guy things.
True, but if you take it in the context that, yes, she's showing off behind. See the tail?
She is the mascot.
She's the mascot. She has to be in every video. At least
she has to be, yeah.
I get they were kind of over hounding on I'm the bad guy, but if you're thinking about how they were raised in isolation, this drug warped them. They stopped the drug. They warped again. It
also
kind of plays into almost like a mental.
I was about to say
disorder.
that's also it was also very self-aware in terms of like medication, like psychological medication. That's what this drug is. It essentially controls their mind, and then when they get off of it,
they lose it.
They lose their mind, and so it's very reminiscent of that. Why, if you're on something, you probably shouldn't be taken off of it.
Stop.
Or don't just stop, because that's the thing. They just stop.
They just stop.
In
so
the
this
film.
is, I think, where it goes wrong.
And that's when Group B loses their frickin' mind.
Yes.
It's insane. But I mean, it's an interesting film. It really is. It's an interesting concept. It has a really interesting story. Like I said, it's very reminiscent of politics today, and you know what to do, what not to do, who to listen to, who not to listen to. I like the story in the sense of, because I don't know if anybody else wonders this. I do. We are killing our planet. It's said, it's done, it is what it is. It's not like we're the first generation to. This is way generations back. It's just, it is. So, you know, it was kind of like, are we going to do this? Are we going to be able to find something to go to? Is that a possibility? And then I would almost like to see a second one, because when they reach the planet, is there life there? Do they need to fight this life? Is this life like them? Are they aliens? Right. What are they? Because a big plot point of the movie is the fact that there are weapons hidden on the ship for the third generation that will make it to the planet. So you wonder what's on that planet. It's never said outright if there is a threat on the planet or if they're just giving them the weapons to be safe. I do think they said at one point that they recognize what would be considered as life, but they didn't specify what exactly that meant. If it was like intelligent life, it was just plant life. They just said life. You're right. So you're left with a bit of a mystery, an anomaly there. So I actually, because the first one was so good, I would go see a second one. And I wouldn't. I just don't think they should try to expand on that. I think it was a good one story about life going from one planet to another and all the headaches it takes to reach peace and to create this new life. I think that was... That's true. Sometimes if you go to a second, you do ruin the first. Less is more. Yeah. I think that's what this movie gave us. And so, you know, it was very interesting. I think it had a very interesting plot. It's not... I don't know if it's doing really well at the box office, but it is a new film. Well, they also released King Kong versus Godzilla at the same time. I think most people would probably go see that, right? Would you say they might stomp on Voyagers? Okay. We didn't need that. Stomp on Voyagers. Oh, I do have to, as a side note, random ADA. No, it's okay. This is in post, but the camera's zooming in on me. Oh, okay. Great. That was a great joke. ADHD moment here, but one of the previews was for Fast and Furious 30,002. Yeah, with a
Yeah.
exact number, actually, I think, yeah.
Look, you guys may be Fast and Furious fans. That's cool. Awesome. Really, we should have stopped at like 2, maybe 3. This is a bit much. It's kind of like Mission Impossible. I know people love it, but like, really? Aren't we just done? And they didn't kill off Paul Walker.
Zoom back in.
So, no zooming. No zooming. Okay, they didn't kill him off, so it doesn't really make sense that he's not in the next one, because he would have been if he's really good friend. It's a long story. I just don't think I'm going to like that. That was a brain spark. Sorry. Back to Voyagers.
But overall, Voyagers, I think, was a good film.
Overall, especially coming from no movies
exactly
whatsoever.
And I think that's a good segue into, would you recommend Voyagers to people?
I would. I definitely, if you are a sci-fi person, if you're mildly into politics, really just kind of if you want to go see something good. There's no comedy in it, so beware if you don't want to see something that is not funny.
Literally nothing funny.
Nothing funny. Do not go. There's no comedic relief, nothing like that. So, but being a comedy person myself, it is still a movie I actually did enjoy and would recommend you to go see.
And I would recommend it as well. Like Miss Pengrino said, I mean, it's been a long pandemic.
Sorry. There's another one coming. Yeah, okay.
Laundry's done too. I would recommend it because, I mean, it's been a long pandemic. It's time to move on. Let's get back into the theaters. Let's watch some movies safely.
Keep your distance.
Keep your distance.
Please.
Be kind. Rewind. But
okay. We're not Blockbuster.
Yes, we are. What was I talking about? But yeah, so social distance, but go see a movie and make time for Voyagers. If you're more into like a story-driven movie that has, you know, a lot of it has some action, but more of like a statement. Mm-hmm. This is the movie to go see. If you're more into action, like Godzilla vs. Kong, or whichever it's called, Kong, Godzilla, whatever, then that's the movie for you. But I would go check out Voyagers. If anything, just to have a date night, or, you know, just to enjoy the movie.
The prices went down.
Also,
so you're not spending as much if you wind up not liking it.
But highly recommended.
Highly recommend.
Go check out Voyagers.
For sure.
It's all in your head.
Well, Miss Pengrino, that was a great discussion about Voyagers.
Absolutely.
It's put me in the mood to watch even more movies. But what are we gonna watch?
I don't know. What is he looking at?
Come on, Miss Pengrino, let's watch Neil Breen!
No!